Welcome to the final video lecture for Engaging and Living the Biblical Story, Topic 8. In the previous video, we discussed ethics, focusing particularly on the two great commandments. In this video, we'll consider the topics of purpose and vocation. Do you believe that God has a special purpose for your life? If so, how might this relate to your chosen vocation? What role might God intend for you to play in His great story? These are some of the questions that we want to consider as we discuss the ways in which God gifts His people, the purposes for which He gives these gifts, and how one might discover one's gifts and calling from God. Human beings have been created by God in His image and likeness for a unique purpose. Although all human beings share in what might be called God's creational purpose, only Christians share in what might be called His missional purpose. According to Dan Diffie, God originally created human beings to know and worship Him, to exercise dominion over His good world and its creatures, to be fruitful and multiply and fill the earth, and to live in right relationship with both God and one another. Although the fall messed everything up, these still remain important purposes for human beings. However, since many people no longer know or worship God, or live in right relationship with Him, He has called and gifted Christians to play a role in His missional purpose of bringing salvation to the world. God has endowed each believer with a variety of both natural and spiritual gifts. Indeed, as James reminds us, every good and perfect gift is from above. Not only does God gift His people, but He also gives to each one a unique personality and temperament. He situates them in a unique setting or environment, characterized by special circumstances and opportunities, so they can then use their gifts and abilities to glorify Him. Gifts are given for the mutual encouragement of believers and for building up the church or body of Christ. As Paul reminds the Corinthians, "Now there are varieties of gifts, but the same Spirit. To each is given the manifestation of the Spirit for the common good." Believers are called to do good to all people and to make disciples of all nations. Every legitimate calling offers opportunities to serve others, testify to the grace and goodness of God, and make disciples. A skilled financial planner can teach others how to manage their money wisely, live within their means, save for the future, and even give to help others. A teacher can help children learn about God's good world, as well as teaching them to be kind, considerate, and helpful to others. A nurse can help bring healing to people and teach them to care for their bodies in a manner that brings glory and honor to God. So how might one discover their gifts and calling? Some people discover their gifts and calling relatively easily. For others, it takes more time and effort. The good news is that there are many things we can do to help us on the way. Spending time in prayer, seeking wise counsel from others, taking spiritual gift inventories and personality tests, and reflecting on the various biblical texts that discuss spiritual gifts can all be helpful in discovering one's gifts and calling. Moreover, we must also consider our personality and temperament, circumstances and opportunities, and even our desires. God created each of us unique in order that we might play a distinctive role in His great story. As author Frederick Buechner has said, "The place where God calls you to is the place where your deep gladness and the world's deep hunger meet." As we bring this series to a close, consider the following questions. How has God gifted you? What opportunities and desires do you have? What might God be calling you to do in service both to others and Himself? And how does this fit within God's missional purpose for the salvation of the world? May the Lord give you wisdom and understanding as you diligently seek His will for your life.